Hello everybody, my name is Zul and welcome to my ENB series for Skyrim. For more information, click here to see the introduction video and find out exactly what settings I'm using. Today we are going to be looking at the Serenity ENB. This is an ENB that focuses on being realistic, not having all that sun glare, that kind of stuff that's in your face, focusing on some high contrast and really toning down the game, sort of like, you know, less vibrant. It's not going to look like a fantasy world, it'll look a bit more toned down. All in all, I think this is a really awesome ENB, and it's another up-and-comer. The installation process for this mod is actually pretty easy as well, so there's that to consider. I get about a 10 to 12 FPS drop in some of my intensive areas in this ENB, just so that you are aware, but for the most part my system can handle a lot of ENBs. This is of course with recording software on, so you may fare a little bit better. I'm using a GTX 670 for this particular, but I am sure you're not interested in talk when it comes to ENB videos, so here is a series of my semi-standardized shots that I use to cover and compare ENBs. Some ENBs don't look good in every location, and I try to vary the locations up enough. So this is by the Guardian Stones. We'll see that the whole world does darken a little bit, but not in a bad way yet again. It sort of fades out a lot of the vibrance that's in the world. I know some people personally prefer vibrant ENBs. I don't. I like things to be toned down a little bit. Here we are at Riverwood with the base game, and if you take a look at the sky and everything, you know, it looks very bright, very happy, but it doesn't really look like you're in some sort of gloomy, overcast Nordic country. Now, if we compare this quickly with the ENB activated, we'll see things darken up a lot more. It does darken up the world. This shot takes place very early morning, and the sun is not quite showing when it's overcast. It might look a little darker on YouTube, of course, because of the rendering. Here we have my typical sun through the cloud shot. In vanilla Skyrim, this shot looks okay. In some of the other ENBs that I've covered, Gloomy War Era, this shot looked absolutely fantastic because of the forebodingness of it and other such things. With this mod activated, the sky and the clouds aren't really the emphasis, but if you look at the fire seems to come to life a lot better than almost everything else. It seems to draw your attention. And not the sun and the sky, which the sun in this ENB is a lot less vibrant, a lot less bright. So that's not the focus. The focus is the torches and that kind of thing, and it really does look kind of like an overcast day in a very dark, gloomy sort of country. So I don't know if you know, but where I'm from, it's fairly cold, and when it's overcast, it is fairly dark. Here is the, what is this, the Atronach Stone, I believe. This is one that gets a lot of screenshots, and here I am looking at it at night. The Atronach Stone is a fairly prominent place. I know a lot of people like to take screenshots and stuff here because the games generally look better. If we check out this one with the ENB activated, we will notice a couple of key things. Looking around at the rocks, there's a bit of occlusion, I believe, but the scene overall is not very different to how it is by default. So in the darkest darks of night, that was the weirdest sentence I've ever said, you can see the game still looks fairly good. The sun in this mod is less vibrant, but the darks remain fairly similar to how they are in Skyrim. Again, we're going to look at a night shot here, this one in Whiterun. This is actually a fairly performance-heavy area, and this is the only area I've received an FPS drop below 60. So just so you're aware of that, this is an area that does give me a tiny little bit of lag, depending on what I'm doing. Here and the swampy areas do as well. So once the ENB is activated, we will once again see the darkness. The back of Talos is a good example. Overall, it doesn't make the world that much darker. The nights stay pretty much the same darkness, but the contrast is what's increased. And that's what this mod really seems to focus on a lot, is contrast between lights and darks. It does make the shadows a lot more discerning, which I personally enjoy, so, you know, there's that. Let's take a look at some interiors. This mod uses enhanced lighting and effects, which means the interiors are going to look better. I personally love using these shadow changing mods because they make interiors like this one look pretty good. And if we take a look at this interior, the shadows moving and other such things, we will see that that mod does just that. But when we activate the ENB, pay careful attention to the fire, because that's what's going to change, because once again, fires in this ENB are something that are very heavily affected, and it makes them look a lot more vibrant, a lot more alive. I don't know, I think it adds a lot of character to the ENB itself, to the room, to have those increased shadows, and then have just the contrast between that blazing fire and then those deep recessed shadows up in the top. I think it looks just absolutely brilliant. And of course, I have to cover some sort of dungeon shot, so here I am again. Once more, pay attention to the fire. The dungeon itself isn't going to get a lot darker. Remember that I am running this at the darkest possible brightness setting, as I always do with all ENBs to keep the testing fair. The fires themselves, you know, normal Skyrim fires don't look bad, but the ENB fires look better. As we can see, the shadows sort of jump out a bit more with the fires burning like that. I just think it adds an amazing level of depth to the scenes. You can get some great screenshots with this ENB, and it is nowhere near too vibrant for you to get away with playing with it as well. Alright, let's turn over to installation. Alrighty, let's talk installation. So this, like every ENB, requires a little bit more, but Serenity ENB is actually a little bit less, surprisingly, as confusing as that intro was. So as always, scroll down, see if you can find some installation instructions on the ENB page. This ENB says that you require enhanced lighting and effects and enhanced lighting for ENB. So you're going to have to go ahead and download both of those. It also says that you need to download ENB and get the latest binaries. So as far as I can tell, that's whatever the latest binary is. Hopefully that's up to date. And then there's some incompatible mods. And of course the INI settings that all ENBs require here. Make sure to turn off your anti-aliasing. So here's what we're going to do. We're here at ENB. We're going to download 2.5.1, which is the latest version as of the date of this video. We're going to download that. We're going to download this. We're going to download Enhanced Lighting and Effects manually, or with Manager, sorry. We're going to download this one with Manager. This is the interior lighting mod. Actually, I've already gone ahead and downloaded this one with Manager, but you should go ahead and click on that. And the ENB itself, you actually download with Manager, which I think is pretty cool. There is some alternative presets, so there's a cinematic slit tone and a sepia tone, which I think look pretty cool, and I might take a look at these in the video as well, but we will see. That, of course, will be saved to the end, as always. So, download with Manager. We'll see that it requires enhanced lighting and effects, but we have already downloaded that. So go ahead and download the ENB itself with Manager. I'm going to cut to when all this downloading is complete, and then continue the instructions. Alright, as always with an ENB mod, we're going to open up the ENB series folder that we have downloaded from enbdev.com, open up the wrapper version, we are going to select everything and hit copy. We are then going to open up our Skyrim directory. This is Steam Apps Common Skyrim. This is not the data folder. The data folder is what is used for mods, and this is ENB, it goes on the outside. Just trust me, don't put it in your data folder. Go ahead and copy and replace. So the ENB mod is installed. Leave that folder open for now though, because we do have some more work to do. Now we are going to install the ENB itself. So the first thing we're going to do is install Enhanced Lighting and Effects. Go ahead and activate that one first with Nexus Mod Manager, making sure that you have no other lighting or weather mods such as Climates of Tamriel installed, as they're not compatible with the ENB. Now only install the main files. Do not install the enhancer, because that could cause some problems. And pretty much ignore all of this stuff ignore everything, just install it completely vanilla, because they could cause some problems with your game. Then install Enhanced Lighting Effects Interior for ENB. That's pretty easy. And finally, Serenity ENB. There we are. It'll take a few moments to install, and then we should be good. But we're not done yet. Head along to your Skyrim folder. Go into Data, and you'll see Serenity ENB has some folders in your data folder that were installed there by Nexus Mod Manager. So I'm going to do full optimized because that sounds like the best preset. We're going to go ahead and copy that out of there back into the main Skyrim root folder. So not the data folder, this folder where you have your tesv.exe. We're going to paste this here. Okay, yes to all. And that will overwrite the actual ENB files themselves into your game. And obviously, if you want a different version, just take the different version and paste it onto here. But that should be it for the installation of this ENB. Overall, the Serenity ENB is one that's definitely earned a place on my top list, perhaps on my load order. So far, out of the ENBs that I've covered, it has got to be one of my favorites for adding a calm realism to the game. In combination with the fact that there's a performance version and a full version and other such things, there's really no reason not to check it out. So go ahead and try downloading Serenity ENB. If you're interested in screenshots and stuff, there's also a sepia and a color-drained version. I have a little clip of that running up here right now just to show you kind of what that looks like. But as always, I would ask you to thumbs up the video if you liked it, thumbs it down if you hated it, or if you personally think that I'm the worst human being on earth and I don't deserve a single amount of praise because I'm terrible and have no self-esteem. Leave a comment about your thoughts about this ENB. Consider subscribing, and I hope you consider checking out my Let's Play of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I use a lot of mods in my Let's Play, a lot of mods, and it's pretty funny. I put a lot of work into it, so I hope you do consider checking it out. But until the next video, or whenever I see you joining me next, I have been Zul. Have an excellent day.